Hello to all of you attending the Eugene Chamber of Commerce's 2023 Economic Summit. I'm Congresswoman Val Hoyle, and I represent Oregon's 4th Congressional District. I'm sorry I can't join you in person today. I'd much rather be with you in Oregon than here in Washington, D.C., but here we are. I'm honored to have the opportunity to talk with you about a project that has the potential to revitalize the economy of Southwest Oregon and bring back thousands of good-paying jobs to the region to replace those jobs lost after the downturn in the timber industry. This is a project that could also reduce the carbon footprint and improve the supply chain for the United States. It's also a top priority for the entire Oregon federal delegation. This project is called the Port of Coos Bay Pacific Intermodal Port, and it could transform the Port of Coos Bay in a way that makes our supply chain systems more resilient. The project is sponsored by the Oregon Port of Coos Bay and North Point Development in a public-private partnership. The entire Oregon delegation, including former Transportation Committee Chair Peter DeFazio, have worked very hard to support the community's efforts to achieve this project. We are also very pleased with the support we've had from the governor and the Oregon legislature for this project. Now, we know that U.S. port capacity is constrained. The lack of resiliency on the West Coast can and will threaten our economy and our national security if we don't make some investments now. Because of the lack of capacity, we do know that too many shippers on the West Coast are either trucking their goods up to Seattle, down to Oakland or LA Long Beach, or even sending their goods through Houston or the East Coast to ship through the Panama Canal to avoid the congestion that we have on the West Coast. The Panama Canal is vulnerable to climate-driven drought and related congestion that delays the arrival of the freight to the destination. But that's what they feel they have to do. Now, Canada recognizes the need for additional port capacity along the West Coast, which is why they put up over $3 billion into the port at Prince Rupert Sound in British Columbia. Currently, 70% of the containers coming into that port in Prince Rupert Sound are headed to the U.S. as a final destination. Now, because the goods must cross 2 international borders, American importers are paying double taxation, meaning higher costs for American consumers. Now, let's not forget, Coos Bay is an ideal location for additional port capacity along the West Coast. It is an existing federal shipping channel maintained by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. It has rail access to Class 1 transportation networks stretching to Midwest markets, and we can send these containers directly to rail, taking hundreds and thousands of diesel trucks off the road. There are also hundreds of acres of undeveloped industrial land with quick and easy access to open ocean and international markets in Asia and beyond. But to be able to service container ships, upgrades to the existing infrastructure are needed, including deepening and widening the federal channel and modernizing the rail lines to accommodate rail cars carrying those containers. This project will provide additional capacity for imports destined for the Midwest and create a new gateway for U.S. exports, which also will allow us to lift local communities that have been struggling economically for decades. This project will make it easier and less expensive for U.S. manufacturers and agricultural products to access international markets. It will bring thousands of good-paying jobs to Coos Bay to build this new port with apprenticeship training opportunities, and there will be thousands of ongoing jobs to operate the port and the rail lines and other ancillary jobs needed to support that business. Part of the private investment from North Point will also be to build workforce housing for the construction workers, and that housing would remain and expand our much-needed housing stock on the South Coast. This project would be transformational for our economy on the South Coast and for the state of Oregon. If the U.S. government continues to underinvest in our nation's port infrastructure, more imports to the U.S. will come through Canada. U.S. ports will lose out on a tremendous opportunity, and American consumers and small businesses will suffer. We need to have this port investment now, and I am very, very proud to join Oregon's federal delegation, our state legislature, our governor, local and community elected officials in supporting this important project, and I look forward to being at the ribbon cutting with all of you.